Hi, and welcome to Behind the Badge. I'm Chief Edward Dunn, and today's show is really directed towards the women in our community. And I have a guest with me today, Officer Elvira Ferreira. Thank you for being on my show.
Oh, you're welcome.
And Elvira's been with the police department for a little over, almost 10 years, correct?
Yes, in January.
January, so your anniversary date's coming up. Great.
Yes.
And I can truthfully say it's been a pleasure having you on the department. You really do some great work. The topic we're going to speak about today, like I said, has to do with women, correct? And it has to do with some training called RAD training. What is RAD training?
RAD stands for Rape, Aggression, Defense. It's a defensive class for women. It was established in the 80s by two people that were actually campus police officers. They saw what was going on with women in the campus community and wanted to bring some self-defense just to the women in the community.
Wow, that's interesting. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So the philosophy behind the RAD program, I mean, is, and like I say, it's just directed for women. Women are the only ones that can take this kind of training.
The women are the only ones that can take the RAD training, the basic self-defense course. They do have other trainings available out there right now, but at this point in time, I'm only an instructor for the women's self-defense class.
Okay.
The philosophy is basically is just defense against abduction.
Okay.
Usually in these type of rape cases that we're discussing that you're trying to get the training for, it's more of someone's going to kidnap you and take you somewhere else to, unfortunately do what it is that they're trying to do.
Yes.
So it's tactics to protect yourself and preventing that from happening.
Yeah, and even though it's called rape defensive tactics and things like that, I mean, this is good for domestic violence, any kind of assault on women, but it was originally designed and geared towards that type of defense?
Yes.
Great.
Yes.
Yeah. And what was the training like? I mean, I sent you the training, so I know you were gone for, was it a week or 3 days?
3 days. It was a 3-day training. The first day of training was 8 hours. The second was like a 12-hour day.
Wow.
It was a lot of physical stuff. The third day was another 8-hour day, which was all the testing. It was testing to make sure that we knew the movements, but also that we had the book stuff down too.
Yeah.
It was grueling, but it was also an awesome experience. As a police officer, I have certain training for what I do at work.
Correct.
And when I'm at work, I have all this gear on my belt. I have my taser, my pepper spray, all of that. But when I'm out on the road on my own, going to the mall shopping or doing whatever it is I'm doing, I don't have all this gear on me.
Correct.
And it was actually very empowering to know that there are other things out there that I can do as a woman to protect myself that doesn't depend on these things. And I know that there's also some misconceptions that I'll use my keys or I'll have pepper spray. The issue is getting it.
Right.
If it's in your purse, how are you going to get it to defend yourself? So this is a way to help use your personal weapons and train you how to defend yourself in that way without having to rely on the extra things that you think you have.
Yeah. And I can attest that when you came back, I think probably the second day or whatever, maybe the third day I saw you, you were black and blue from some of the training.
I was. They toss you around. That's for sure.
Yeah, so I mean, it was real training.
It was extremely real training. The second day, that night, we actually had to do simulations.
Okay.
And that's not mandatory for everyone to do. That's something that if a woman does not want to do it, they don't have to. And that's if if I have the class set up in time and I can get some of the instructors that have that training, it would be great. I think everyone should do it personally. It's actually very empowering. But you go through all these different tests and they just, you just find your strength in that, knowing that you can fight someone off that is twice your size.
Wow.
I'm 5'6", but I'm going up against guys that are 6 foot something, over 200 pounds, and they're just...
And you were winning.
Yes.
Amazing. So, I mean, this is really important. It really is important, as you talked about, as a police officer, we do have tools on our belt that we can use to defend ourselves But you're right, the average woman walking the street really doesn't have those tools. So this training will help them.
Yes, and I think of it more as like an insurance policy on a
Okay.
car. You hope that you don't have to use it. You have it there just in case. Not every woman is going to be a victim of a rape, but there is a huge number of women that will be.
And again, not going through the training, and probably not going to be able to go through the training because I'm a male. What about the physical capacities of the women? I mean, they don't have to be, do they have to be in really good shape, or
No.
it's for all?
It's for all women. You don't have to be in phenomenal shape. You don't have to do CrossFit every day. It's just basically using what you have
Okay.
to protect yourself.
Very interesting. Interesting. And again, why only women? Why? I mean, men get attacked.
Men do get attacked. This course is specifically designed for, like I said, defense against abduction. So it's women defending themselves against being abducted. They do have men's only classes,
Oh, okay.
but they're for different types of defense. Usually a man is not going to get abducted.
Right.
It would be more of like multiple people trying to fight a male, and those are what those classes are about. But this is about a woman getting pulled
Yeah.
away from where she is so that someone can do something to her. Another reason you don't want men at the class is not that all men are rapists, but the majority of rapes are conducted by men.
Correct.
And you don't want to give a man an insight to what women are doing to defend themselves, because then they can find counter moves, and you just don't want that. Also, a lot of times, some of the women in the classes are rape victims.
Okay.
They're survivors.
Right.
So to have a male in the class can just kind of shut them down, and they won't want to participate. Some of the things that we do have to partner up. So even the stuff that I will be asking the women to do, I did in the class myself. But they will be asked to partner up with other people in the class, and they're less amped to get the full experience of the class if they're partnered up with a male and they don't feel comfortable with that.
Okay. That totally makes sense. Totally makes sense. Can you explain the instructional objectives to the class?
The instructional objective is to develop and enhance the options of self-defense so that they may be viable considerations to the woman who is attacked. So that's just, like I said, it's basically you have these tools on you. The biggest tool you have is your voice.
Okay.
And that's in any situation. I've done classes for the elderly and how to protect themselves. In the past, I've gone and spoken to them of things that they can do to reduce the chance of them becoming a victim of a crime. And those are other things that we'll be teaching. So one's always the voice.
Okay.
People don't like being confronted. Another is just checking your surroundings, those types of things. And then once those start to fail, then that's when they get into the self-defense and using what you have on you to protect yourself.
Well, fascinating. I know you can't get into the details of RAD, but what does the class entail? I mean, what if when we have these classes, what can the women or the students expect?
So the class isn't like a quick 1 hour course where you come in and you learn everything. It's actually a 9 to 12 hour course, so it's broken down in 3 hour increments.
Okay.
I mean, they've attempted to do them back to back, and they found that was just too much for someone to do. So it's usually once a week there'll be a 3 hour course, and usually the first class, it's kind of the beginning. Will be learning about the stuff. It's more like sitting down and doing the bookwork, but you will get into the physical portion of it. Or the class, it breaks it down from the beginning. Okay. So there's some people out there, some women out there that don't even know how to make a fist. So it'll be something that we start off with. This is how you make a fist. And it was something I learned when I was in college. I didn't know how to make a fist until I took a martial arts course, and they actually broke it down for me.
Sure. Yeah. So it isn't all the physical piece here. There's bookwork to go in this.
Oh yes.
Okay.
Sometimes you have to do the bookwork to understand why it is what you're doing.
Absolutely. Yeah. You have to learn it first. So interesting. So it would be like 3 to 4 classes. Then pretty much it's like you say between the 9 and 12 hours.
Yes.
Very good. And what are some of the strategies that would be discussed during the class, if you can share that?
Some of the strategies is just kind of learning the basic self-defense. Like I stated, making a fist, learning how to punch someone, learning how to fight off an attacker. But then there's other strategies that you can use, just being aware of your surroundings. So many people just driving here, I'm watching them talking on their cell phones or looking down at their cell phones while they're walking, oblivious to what's going on around them. And it's one of those things that if you are in a situation, you're not looking around, you're going to be the perfect victim.
Right.
So it's just little things like that.
Yeah, and that's true in anything in life.
Mm-hmm.
If you stick with the same routine, or you're distracted, it does give the offender that opportunity to take advantage of you.
It does.
And you're absolutely right. You see it all the time. They're walking with the earbuds in their ears. They're looking down. They're texting, and they're not really paying attention to what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
And that's an open door for someone who wants to do bad things to people.
Mm-hmm.
So that's good. So it really is an educational class also.
No, it really is, because it's not just about learning how to defend other people. It's learning how to keep yourself safe in all situations.
Yeah. Now you took this 3-day class.
Mm-hmm.
How has it affected you? How has it changed you from what you knew, what you didn't know before the 3-day class, and what you know now? How has it changed you?
So the funny part is, before I even took this class, there were times where, say Christmas shopping, you're out at night doing Christmas shopping, and I don't have easy access to, a gun or something like that. What if I get attacked in a parking lot? I've had these thoughts of, what am I going to do?
And you're a trained police officer.
And I'm a trained police officer, but we're also trained we have all these tools on our belts that I don't have when I'm not working.
Right.
So it was actually very empowering to go through the steps to learn that you can take on someone that's, 2 times your size.
Mm-hmm.
Knowing that you can fight them off, and sometimes it's multiple people you're fighting off. And it was just a great class that I think every woman should take, just to have in the back of her head that if the occasion arises, they have it there.
Yeah.
And I think every other female had that same feeling at the end of the class. It was just one of those things where you were done and you didn't feel like it was wasted time. You felt that this is something awesome that I can do to bring to my community to help protect the women in my community, because we are a phone call away as police officers,
Right.
but there's going to be a period of time that it takes us to get from one location to the other.
No, you're absolutely right on that. We're just not around the corner sometimes, and if you can defend yourself, that's really important.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I think as you actually came to me about this kind of training. I think I was kind of aware of it, and it took a little while to get you in a class because there weren't any classes available for it. So it was great that we could send you to something like this, and the reason that we wanted to do this was we want to offer it right here in our community, this type of training for the women. Sometime later this fall or later this winter, we plan on having a class. And we were talking earlier, the average size of a class for the instructors, so we have
So if it's just myself, I'll try and get other instructors in there. I would probably like a 12-person max just for me.
Okay.
Because there will be situations where I'm the only person holding the punching bags that they're going to hit. So we have to get everyone through the class, through that line. And if we have a bigger class, it's going to obviously take much longer.
Sure.
And it's people just standing around and not getting what they should be getting out of the course.
So there's other equipment, like you're talking punching bags
Yes.
and things like that. So there's equipment that we're going to end up purchasing.
Yes,
so that you'll have it.
The big punching bag. I think we use something similar to that when we do our training.
Right.
And then we have like the smaller ones for other types of strikes that the women will be learning.
And then those who participate as the attacker, they have some equipment also to protect them, correct?
Yes, if we can get some instructors in to become the attackers for the simulations, they're going to be dressed head to toe, but the women will also have equipment as well.
Okay.
So they won't just be going in bare hands and no equipment. They have a helmet and a chest piece on.
To protect them during this.
Yes,
so,
elbows, right. Knees, all that stuff.
And there's a chance that they could get black and blue too?
Possibly.
Possibly.
It's always a possibility.
Yeah. But anyways, but no. I know when you came back you were excited about the training, and this is great. And this is something that we do want to offer here in town. Again, that will happen probably sometime late this fall, early winter, that we will advertise probably right here on FCTV, on our webpage, and we'll probably put something out in the press to take applications for this type of training. And we're really, really would love to have a lot of women sign up for this training, and I know the training will be very worthwhile to them, and keep them safe. Give them the tools they need if they're out late at night, because we have a lot of people who work late at night, and it can happen during the day too. But most of the attacks that usually occur in the evening, like you were saying, you go to the mall at night or whatever, and it is interesting that even you feel vulnerable, even being a police officer who's trained. So, but good. No, I really appreciate you taking the time to come in and talk about this important topic. I would just say to the women in the community, watch our Facebook page. We will advertise as soon as we're going to have this class, and look forward to having everyone participate in it. So as always, I like to say that, if you see something or hear something suspicious, please call the Falmouth Police Department and report it. Thank you.